Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is half of Season 1 of the Operation Monster Force 1/12 scale action figure line. This is a collaboration between Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop. They are exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store, so links in the video description below for each one of the figures from Season 1. Season 2 is also available for pre-order. Season 1 is pre-order. It's on the way. It's like coming, you know, it's on a boat, so, you know, who knows exactly how long that'll take. They're looking like mid to late September for when they'll have them in the warehouse and can start shipping out Season 1. So they are coming soon. But thanks to Big Bad Toy Store, I have all of Season 1 here to show you guys, to get you guys hyped up and excited, just like I am, for these figures. They look amazing. They come with a bunch of accessories, so I'm excited. I'm going to break this down into two videos. We're going to have our good guy side and we're going to have our bad guy side. So we got Declan Van Helsing, the Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper, the Delta Red Nocturnal Operations Trooper, and Count Dracula. Now, Dracula, the good guy, so interesting, right? There is a comic book series, or an individual comic, digital comic that you can actually get. I'll have a link in the video description to that as well. It's available on Big Bad Toy Store, so link in the video description below. You just click on it and then you could download it. It's free, and you can read the story. The second video will be the bad guy, so the Forgotten King, as well as the 3 different Sleepwalker figures that we've got. So looking at these figures, let's pull out Declan Van Helsing since he's kind of the main guy there. So we'll pull him out and look at the box and everything like that so you guys could see it. So Operation Monster Force, you got the logo there. We get to look at the figure right there in the front. Up at the top it says Operation Monster Force. It does say the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. Warning, a little bit of a choke hazard, and it's for ages 17 and up. Looking at the side there, we got a Roman numeral, so they're numbered 1 through 8. We got 1, Declan Van Helsing, and you can see here Big Bad Workshop, because Big Bad Toy Store is getting into the action figure game, not only selling, but also manufacturing, producing action figures. So there, Big Bad Workshop. On the other side, you can see Fresh Monkey Fiction there. You have the logo, as you can see there. Now, they have flaps on there that are Velcroed for the figure, so I believe that's going to change when it comes to Season 2, because when you first open it, those Velcro like holds very strong, so be careful when you guys first get yours. So we get a little bit of a comic panel strip there. If you want to check it out, go ahead and pause it there to check out for the figure, but then you have the window box and you can see the figure in there. Now, I know some of these, someone commented like, oh, there's pretty light in the plastic there for, you know, $36.99. There's baggies that have the accessories in there. These things are loaded. Don't let that fool you there when you see empty space there. See those bags in the back? They are packed with accessories. So let's go ahead and get each one of these 4 figures out of the box and let's take a closer look. Okay, as these are review samples, this may not be final. I don't know that for sure yet, but they're just like have these plastic ties that hold the figure in place. So those can be removed easily. We do get a stand here, as you can see, Monster Force, and it has kind of this tombstone look to it. And then we have, again, a bag full of accessories. So even more hands. We got hands there. We have even more hands there. All kinds of different pouch and modular different options. We get the blast effects for the guns and stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff going on in here. So again, these are packed with accessories. So enough of that. Now let's go get to the figures. Okay, so I lied. We didn't quite get to the figures yet because look at all of this stuff. This is crazy. This is like, it's overwhelming to review figures when you have this amount of accessories, because you want to be able to swap all of the different pieces together and everything like that and show off everything that there is. But there's just so much. Like, we get 3 muzzle flashes there. Whoops. We get a smoke effect there. We have knife. We have a couple of handguns. We got a radio. We've got a magazine. We've got 2 weapons, large weapons there. We have an insane amount of hands, both gloves and no gloves. So 1, 2, 3 no gloved hands. We get these different pieces to put on the pouches of his vest. These will go on his legs. You can clip these pouches onto those. You got, it's just a crazy amount of stuff. So bear with me as we get through this, because I want to be able to show you guys all of it. And there's a lot of really cool stuff. Okay, so I have all 4 figures out of the packages, and holy moly, they are loaded with accessories. Count Dracula, not so much. He has three extra sets of hands, a sword, and an extra head. So he does not come with a whole lot of weapons. So he just has the sword in terms of weapon, and then accessories. He doesn't have a whole lot of the other stuff that these guys come with. So Declan Van Helsing has a couple of different weapons specific to him, but the two Delta Red Troopers actually have like very similar accessories, but in different colors, which is cool. The head sculpts are the same, but there are some different paint apps going on for them. Now, the three of these guys are essentially the same figure with some tweaks to it. So like the two Delta Red Troopers have knee pads that Van Helsing does not. Van Helsing has a rolled up sleeve at his forehead. Delta Red Urban Trooper has the full sleeve, and then the Nocturnal Trooper actually has armored forearms. So there are some minor differences. The paint scheme on each one is different, and then the vests are the same. However, we can make some changes to the vests, like some of the pieces have been changed around, like we have pouches here on Van Helsing, Declan, and then the troopers have different color grenades that can also be swapped around. So they're essentially the same figure, but the accessories and things, again, different paint apps to them. And then because the vests are modular, you can change those around all you want. We also get the shoulder pad armors that you can put on the figure or keep off. All kinds of things that you could do. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're first going to take a look at Count Dracula to get him out of the way, since he is not the same body mold as these other three. We will look at those other three kind of together in terms of like the accessories and articulation and all that stuff. So let's get on with Count Dracula. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Count Dracula. And yes, Count Dracula is technically on the good guy side. However, he's still not a good guy. He is still Dracula after all. He is a vampire. So I think actually, you know, if you go through that digital comic book, and you look at like the biographies for each one, he actually tells Van Helsing, Declan, you better not fall asleep before sunrise, right? So he's still got a little bit of evilness in him. The head sculpt looks really good. He's got a nice skin tone color to him. He's got red eyes. Looks really good. I see some Liam Neeson in that head sculpt. I don't know if that was some inspiration there, but I think he looks really good. He's got this long trench coat there. It's just black in color. As you can see there, some nice sculpted wrinkles on there. It's pretty thin and soft, which will be good in terms of like moving the legs around. But one thing that you do have to be careful of, I've already popped some glue on there by moving the legs out a little bit. So yes, you know, there's some nice pliability to it because it's thin rubber in there. Again, I did pop some of the glue on there. Again, these are also review samples, so final product could vary a little bit. So just a heads up on that. And the rubber coat, the tie ascot thing is all an overlay in there. So in terms of like what articulation he has under there, I'm not really sure, as you're not really going to be able to get to do a whole lot of it other than some tilt and things going like that. He's just got the long sleeve arms in there. And that's all we kind of have. He does have interchangeable heads, so we get two head sculpts. You got that one there, and then you got one here that he's showing his fangs and his teeth, so a real angry look. Now, to pop off the head sculpt, one thing on mine is the neck seems to be a little too loose, so the neck comes off, and then I kind of have to work this neck out of the head sculpt on there, which is not the easiest thing to do, is because it's got a very firm grip on there. I also did not heat this up, so heating it up could probably help with that. So just a heads up on that. Popping the head on there, fits on there nice and snug, looks good, and that's very menacing looking, and he looks very angry, very scary for Dracula. I like that. The other accessories that he comes with, so out of the package he just has grip hands there. He also has these open hands here with his claws painted on each one, so that is definitely a nice touch. We also get trigger finger hands. I don't know if he's going to be using any guns or anything like that, but if he wanted to, he could pull the trigger, as you can see there. We also get a pair of fists as well. So there we have that there. And then he has his sword. This is the only weapon that he comes with. Nice silver color for the blade. Nice gold hilt with a little bit of wash in there. And it's got like this dragon type look there, which looks really nice. So nice detailed. Look at that. Dragon head down there at the bottom. Ooh, a little bit of red paint in there for the eyes too. Look at that. So that looks really good. So that is Dracula. Now let's go ahead and check out his articulation. Okay, so Dracula has long hair, so he's really not going to be able to look up very much. The neck does push back a little bit, so he can kind of look upwards, but you can't really get him to do that. Looking down, you could do that there. The neck itself moves. There is a disc ball joint hinge on that neck, but in all honesty, it's hard to really kind of get any kind of use out of that. And then you get some circular motion. You could do some neck pivot going on in there. The arm you can get to go straight on out like so, which is great. There is a butterfly joint in there, so you can see you can move the arm back quite a ways. And then coming forward, it's not going to be a whole lot because you have that rubber overlay, but you could cross over a tiny bit in there. You got an upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend there at the elbow. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, so depending on the hand will determine the way the hinge goes. So the trigger finger hands have the vertical hinges, the others have the standard horizontal hinges on there. In terms of the ab that's in there, again, you can't really get a whole lot of use out of it because of the rubber overlay in there, but you could tilt him a little bit to the left, tilt a little bit to the right, you know, lean back a little bit, doesn't really stay, and then forward, it doesn't really stay either. He does have drop down hips in there, so the legs drop down a little bit, as you can see there. You can do the splits, but again, careful with the jacket, as again, I've already popped some glue, so you're going to be very careful with how far you get those legs to come apart. You can't kick forward that far, which is good. The leg doesn't really go back. The coat's really going to get in the way of that. Upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee. Let me see. The jacket's going to kind of get in the way of that, but a nice bend there at the knee. You get a boot swivel in there. Foot hinges down all the way, hinge up a little bit, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So that is Dracula. Now let's go ahead and check out Declan Van Helsing as well as the Delta Troopers. Okay, so here we have Declan Van Helsing, and that looks pretty good. He's got that scar over his right eye there. He does not have an extra head sculpt. He's the only figure, well, the Forgotten King doesn't either, to not have an extra head sculpt, but he's loaded with other accessories. Like he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra sets of hands. So he has 3 extra sets of hands that are without gloves. So he has, well, I guess 4 in total because he's got the grip hands there on the figure. Plus he's got he's got some fists. He's got some trigger finger hands. And then he has these open hands. One thing about him, and again, I don't know if this is going to be mine because they're, you know, early samples. There's some green paint kind of throughout. Let me, focusing on in his face. So there's kind of some green paint throughout the skin tone of these hands, and I don't know if that's because of whatever the base plastic is and the paint's coming through, or if that's just the design that puts a little bit of wash and something kind of going over his hands, because the hands are pretty heavy with it, as you could see there. And again, I don't know if that was done on purpose or if that's just something with mine. So just a heads up on that. You don't really see it on his face, although there seems to be a little bit in his neck, but definitely not on his face. The only things that we really see on his face is a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow going on in there. So just a heads up on that. Looking at the figure, he's got this awesome paintwork on his pants. I mean, look at the wash in there. And then it looks like some dry brushing in some areas to really bring out the details of the texture of the pants and then kind of the wrinkles and stuff, which is awesome. And then the boots look really good there. He's got the tactical vest on there, and again, some of these pieces are modular because we get some additional pieces and things like that going on in there. He's got some tattoos on his exposed forearms there. His belt there, he's got some shotgun shells. It looks like some carabiners. And then he's got a lot of pouches and things. You know, we got some silver, some gold in there along with green. So lots of different paint apps going. The vest can be removed. You can pop it off right here on the side. It's got this large peg in there. It's not too difficult to put back on, because some vests can be. This one isn't so bad. I was able to get it, you know, after a couple of minutes. You know, you want to work, you know, that peg in there the best way you can, and then just kind of push in as hard as you can, and then boom, it gets secured on there. But again, the accessories are crazy. So the gloved hands now. So gloved hands, he's also got grips with the gloved hands. Let me drop them down there. So looking here, you've got the grip there. You have the open hands there, like so. You got trigger finger hands, and the cool thing about the trigger finger hands is you could see the fabric cover over that armor piece for his knuckles is worn down, so you see the silver coming through on them, which is pretty awesome. And then you also get a pair of fists. And then one thing with the fists, one hand has the exposed silver, the other one does not. So I take it he punches with his left a little bit more, right? That's probably what's going on there. Now, in terms of accessories, my goodness, there's so many. We have some muzzle flashes. So we have 3 different muzzle flashes, as you can see here. And all the Delta Red Troopers are also going to have these 3 different muzzle flashes. Let me get him out of the way because it's going to keep focusing on him. So you have these 3 different muzzle flashes, which is good. We get the smoke effect there, which is nice. And then in terms of weapons, we get 2 pistols. So we have these 2 here. They are different sizes, but they are very similar. I think this is like Desert Eagle. This one is, I don't know what this is. This may not be a Desert Eagle. I honestly don't know. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. You can see there's a little bit of peg hole in there. So you could put like these muzzle effects or maybe just the smoke effect in there. So you could just port that. Let's see. Port that in there like so. So very nice touch there. A little bit of gold and brown in there, so nice detail. We get a knife here as well, so the knife is just kind of brown. The blade is silver and black, and that looks really good. Nice paintwork on there. Other weapons, he's got this rifle here, which is kind of crazy. So you got the bayonet, so that silver blade there. The paintwork on this thing is crazy. The magazine is removable, and look at that. You have a painted bullet right at the top, which is just crazy. The details on this thing are insane. I mean, look at that. You get some gunmetal, a little bit of goldish brass on there. You got that scope. Crazy details in this. This is pretty darn amazing. Really, really nice. The next weapon that we get for Van Helsing is this crossbow. The crossbow is crazy too. So you get this nice like metal silver dry brush kind of throughout, which looks really good. So a nice wash in there. Just looks really good. The scope is red on there. Very nice. I would be careful with these thin plastic parts. There's not a whole lot of give to them, so do be very careful there. But scope work, this thing came out amazing, and we get some awesome paint work because, I mean, look at those silver rivets kind of throughout. So pretty awesome. Other accessories that Van Helsing comes with, he has an additional magazine here. I guess this magazine would go with this weapon, so I guess it'd be an interchangeable magazine style. This one does have a bullet painted on there again as well. Let's see, do we slide? Does that fit right in there? That just fits right in there, so you could swap those out if you would like to. We get a radio here. This is probably like satellite phone style. No paint to it. It's just black in color. There we get a radio like receiver or piece there, which looks like it's going to peg into the vest, with all the modular different options that you have there. And then we get like some grenade pieces and things like that that actually can port on into the vest. We get this piece here, looks like a pouch. There we have this other piece here, which looks like this would hold, where did I put that? This looks like this would hold the sat phone, right? It could sit right on in there, like so. And then you get these swappable pieces. So these can go on his legs, and you can see those peg holes on there, so you can add different parts to his legs as well, which I will kind of customize here shortly, because you get these other pieces on here. So we have this piece here, some kind of holster, so you'd be able to peg it onto the leg piece, so you can have it there, which is nice. And then you have this armor piece, I take it, and I think this might be additional arrows and stuff for the crossbow. So you have that there, and then here you have this centerpiece to the vest. So if you pull this piece off, you could swap it out with this piece there. So all kinds of crazy customization options. So let's go ahead and try and get through it pretty quick. Okay, so this is just an example of some of the modular options that you could do. So I put the sat phone in there, and I have the receiving end, or the is it the receive? I don't know what that's called. But anyway, I have it right there in the front. It looks like it's connected there, so you can have, communicate. I put the knife sheath on there, and sheaths in there nicely, holds nice and firm. I swapped out this middle part there. I added in these holsters, so you have the holster there on his right arm. And then here on his left arm, I put these grenades. But you don't have to do that. You could also put these pieces, these arrow pieces for the crossbow, if that's what you want to do. You can put like a standard pouch on there. You could do all kinds of stuff. So the customization options is just kind of crazy. Now we'll go through the Delta Red altogether, because their accessories are going to be the same exact thing. It's just different colors between the two. But before we do that, let's go ahead and check out Declan's articulation. Okay, so articulation for Declan Van Helsing. So the neck is on a disc hinge. The neck itself can move around just like in Dracula, and then it is on a hinge, so he can look all the way up, which is great. He can look all the way down. You get some pivot in there, swivel at the head. The arm can go straight on out. You get a full rotation in there. Oops, pop that piece off there in front of his vest, and you can just pop that on, make sure it's secure on there. You have a butterfly joint on there, but in all honesty, that vest is going to get in the way going back and then coming forward in the crossbody. Not a whole lot because the vest is really going to get in the way there as well. Upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed pinless elbow, gives you that much bend there at the elbow. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge on most of the hands. The trigger finger hands do have the vertical hinge. We have a ball joint waist in there, so you can get Declan Van Helsing to tilt to his left. You can get him to tilt to his right there. You can lean back a little bit, and then you can come forward only a little bit. There is a diaphragm cut on Declan Van Helsing in there, but with the vest, you know, I guess it's a little bit difficult, but let's go ahead and pop that vest off. Let's show you guys the articulation there. So you can see the upper body, you can get him to tilt that much left in total, and then all the way to the right. So quite a bit of movement there on that ball joint waist and that diaphragm there. The legs do have the drop down hip, so they drop down a little bit, not a huge amount, but you can get them to come down somewhat. You can do full splits like so. You can kick forward very far there. Your leg goes back a little bit. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee like so. Foot hinges down very, very little because the pant leg hinges up very little because of the pant leg. There is some ankle pivot in there, but it's going to be hindered a little bit again because of the pant leg. And then you got peg holes there at the bottom of the feet. So pretty good articulation for Declan Van Helsing, but I will say he does look a little bit odd without the vest. So I do recommend keeping the vest on. Okay, you are not seeing double. These are two different versions. Here on the left in the blue is the Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper. The one on the right is the Delta Red Nocturnal Operations Trooper. So they are essentially the same figure with some minor differences in terms of the paint and everything like that. So the two head sculpts are the same. However, there's a little bit of added red throughout the Nocturnal figure, which is very subtle but does look nice. And then obviously, of course, their uniforms are going to be different. Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper is in all blue. The Nocturnal is in all black camouflage. There, the boots are green on the Nocturnal versus black of the Urban. The knee pads are the same but painted differently. The vests and everything like that are also the same and modular. We get all the same pieces. The big difference is going to be the forearm, whereas the Nocturnal Operations Trooper, you can see the forearm has this armor piece as opposed to just the full like sleeved look. So that is going to be the big difference between the two. And again, just the differences in the paint, as you can see there. All the paint is still all in the same places, but I would say the Nocturnal one has a little bit more since it has the camouflage, and then the boots being green, you could see the wash over it just a little bit better. But the black does still have some on there too. The knee pads on the Nocturnal are just kind of all black, whereas here on the Urban, it looks like there's a lot of wash that's added over it to kind of give it a dirty, grungy look to it there. But essentially the same exact figure. They're also the same as the Declan Van Helsing. So in terms of articulation, you're going to get the same exact thing. The biggest difference is we get added boot swivel in here, and then foot hinges all the way down, hinge up, better ankle pivot on there. Otherwise, again, articulation is going to be the exact same, so we don't have to go over it here with these figures. Each one does come with the stand that is in the form of the tombstone that says Operation Monster Force. They both say Delta Red, as they are both Delta Red Troopers. Now, in story, the Delta Red Troopers are just standard army guys that take vampire's blood is injected into them to make them undead, so they won't succumb to the Forgotten King's sorcery, right? They won't... he has no effect on them, which is crazy. And then because it's of a different vampire, Dracula does not have control over these guys. So as long as they're administered the antidote within 13 days, within 13 moon cycles, I think it was, something like that, I think 13 days, they can be transform back into human. So they have that going on for them. But the accessories are going to be the exact same. Again, it's just going to be color things. And a lot of the accessories are going to be the same from Declan Van Helsing. So I'll go over the accessories a little bit quicker this time around. Because again, all the same stuff. But these guys have alternate heads that are pretty damn awesome. So let's get into all that. Okay, so the accessories and the differences that we actually have between the two. We get this rifle between them, and the rifles are essentially, well, they're sculpted the same, but they are not the same color. So everything that you guys are going to see in this video from now on, in this portion, my left hand is going to be the Urban Trooper. My right hand is going to be the Nocturnal Trooper. So we get these matching rifles. The Nocturnal has the lighter color one, and the Urban has the darker color one. You do have a removable magazine in there that does have a painted bullet there at the top. Again, the accessories are going to be all the same from Declan Van Helsing, but I will go over some of the differences. So looking at the knives that we actually got, so the knife here is actually the same from Van Helsing on the Nocturnal, but the Urban Trooper actually gets this nice bluish color blade, which matches a few different things. So if you look at like the head sculpt, this helmeted head sculpt that the Urban Trooper comes with, it matches that blue on there, which is a nice metallic blue, which just looks really cool. The Nocturnal Trooper has one where it's all blacked out, and that looks pretty damn cool. I like that a lot. A little bit of gunmetal color kind of hidden in there, red for the eyes. These head sculpts are awesome. It gives you a different customization options. So really, really cool. The other head sculpt on there, and this one has a faceplate. So as you can see there, the faceplates are similar on there. But there are some differences, right? So you get a little bit of that blue in there, but this one is kind of going to be all silver. You get the vampire look in there, so that is all good there. But these can be removed, and you actually get a different cover piece to kind of go in its place. So it gives you, again, depending on if you're buying multiples of these troopers, you can have these different options to make however many different troopers you want. So this one, as you can see, that faceplate there covers perfectly, and then you can lift it up there. So that is a really nice touch there. And of course, this one does come with it. The Urban does come with it. It is that blue as opposed to the silver color there. So you have those other options there. Now the sat phones that are the same from Declan Van Helsing, the biggest difference with these guys, the troopers, they actually get blue screens on theirs. Not a big deal, but I thought I would point that out. The next thing is going to be these, so okay, everything else in terms of like from Declan Van Helsing, it's all the same, it's just different color variations and whatnot. But the troopers also come with these shoulder pad armors here. So the Urban has the nice blue color ones. The Nocturnal Trooper has the black with the red. So I will put those on in the next segment so you guys can see that. And then the other thing is these guys come with elbow pads. Actually, you know what? No, these guys do not have elbow pads. So the Nocturnal guys do not have elbow pads, but the Urban Troopers do have elbow pads. That's weird. I wonder why the Urban guys have elbow pads and not the Nocturnal Troopers. So I'm not missing the accessories. Okay, so Nocturnal guys don't come with elbow pads. They don't have elbow pads on there, but I guess they have the forearm little armor pieces, so they don't get the elbow pads. But Urban Troopers get elbow pads, so I'll go ahead and put those on. Okay, so there we go. It's taken me so long. There's so much to these figures. In all honesty, it takes a really long time because the vests and all these different pieces, you can move them around. You can, you know, it's all modular. You can put things in different places and things like that. Like here on the Nocturnal, I put the knife, you know, on his back. So you can do all those crazy things. And in all honesty, it takes so much different time. It takes a lot of time because there's so many different pieces and you want to make sure you kind of get it in the way that you really want it to look and everything like that. Once you have it though, it's well worth it because just look at how awesome having these different pieces and parts put these onto these figures really makes the figure like a completely different character. Just makes it look even more awesome. Because right now, this Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper, this right here is my absolute favorite. I absolutely love the way this looks. This head sculpt right here with that metallic blue just looks absolutely amazing. I love this one. The blue is not my favorite though. I like the colors of the Nocturnal, but I like the darker colors of the vest and everything like that. Now here's what you can do. You can swap all these things around if you really wanted to. I'm not going to go into that, but you could absolutely do that. Like all these different pieces and stuff will all clip onto whichever vest, move the vests around, all that you want to do to give yourself the perfect Monster Force figure that you want to do, because you can customize it any which way you want. If you have multiples of these figures, you have all those different options. Remember, there's this head sculpt with this different cover on there, or you can just take the cover off completely and you can have the exposed face, or you can have, again, the other Nocturnal Trooper with this head sculpt on there. All kinds of the crazy things that you can do. But yeah, the Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper right now is my absolute favorite. Okay, so that is the first 4 figures of Season 1 of Operation Monster Force by Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop. Again, these are exclusive to Big Bad Toy Store. So shout out to Big Bad Toy Store for sending these out so I could review for you guys. I will be moving on to the next 4 in Season 1. So we got the 3 different Sleepwalkers as well as the Big Bad in the Forgotten King. These first 4 figures are pretty awesome. Count Dracula is cool. He is a little bit light on the accessories. Van Helsing is awesome. You know, when we get named characters, it's always really good. Lots of customizable options and things like that. But the troopers, the Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper and the Delta Red Nocturnal Operations Trooper, those are going to be the highlights. The Sleepwalkers look amazing and have even more accessories to them, but these troopers are really, really nice. This Urban Trooper is just my absolute favorite. I absolutely love it. The Nocturnal Trooper, I love the colors of it. Those things are definitely going to be the highlight in Operation Monster Force. But you guys let me know down in the comments below. How are you looking forward to these figures? I know a lot of folks have like the Naughty and Nice figures by Fresh Monkey Fiction already and are looking forward to additional troop builders for army guys, or just to kind of start a new line and have this new story and this world building opportunity here as you start off with the fresh line. I'm really liking these, and I can't wait to check out the next 4 and to see what Season 2 is going to bring as we get even more characters. So awesome stuff here with the Operation Monster Force. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, Season 1 or Wave 1 will hit Big Bad Toy Store in mid to late September, as they are on a boat now, depending on how long that will take, and then customs and all of that. These will hit soon. Season 2 is available for pre-order now as well. Links in the video description below if you want to get your orders in for the Operation Monster Force. These things are awesome, and I can't wait to check out the other ones and see what more is going to come with Season 2. Loaded with accessories. These things are great. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.